Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning God created heaven and earth. Chapter 1, verse 2. But the earth was empty and unoccupied, and darknesses were over the face of the abyss. And so the Spirit of God was brought over the waters. Chapter 1, verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light." And light became. Chapter 1, verse 4. And God saw the light, that it was good. And so he divided the light from the darknesses. Chapter 1, verse 5. And he called the light day, and the darknesses night. And it became evening and morning one day. Chapter 1, verse 6. God also said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide waters from waters." Chapter 1, verse 7. And God made a firmament, and he divided the waters that were under the firmament from those that were above the firmament. And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven, and it became evening and morning, the second day. Chapter 1, verse 9. Truly God said, "Let the waters that are under heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and he called the gathering of the waters seas. And God saw that it was good. Chapter 1, verse 11. And he said, "Let the land spring forth green plants, both those producing seed and fruit-bearing trees, producing fruit, according to their kind, whose seed is within itself over all the earth." And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 12. And the land brought forth green plants, both those producing seed, according to their kind, and trees producing fruit, with each having its own way of sowing, according to its species. And God saw that it was good. Chapter 1, verse 13. And it became evening and the morning, the third day. Chapter 1, verse 14. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven, and let them divide day from night, and let them become signs, both of the seasons and of the days and years." Chapter 1, verse 15. Let them shine in the firmament of heaven, and illuminate the earth. And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 16. And God made two great lights, a greater light to rule over the day, and a lesser light to rule over the night, along with the stars. Chapter 1, verse 17. And he set them in the firmament of heaven, to give light over all the earth. Chapter 1, verse 18. And to rule over the day, as well as the night, and to divide light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Chapter 1, verse 19. And it became evening and morning, the fourth day. Chapter 1, verse 20. And then God said, "Let the waters produce animals with a living soul, and flying creatures above the earth, under the firmament of heaven." Chapter 1, verse 21. And God created the great sea creatures, and everything with a living soul, and the ability to move that the waters produced, according to their species, and all the flying creatures, according to their kind. And God saw that it was good. Chapter 1, verse 22. And he blessed them, saying, "Increase and multiply, and fill the waters of the sea, and let the birds be multiplied above the land." Chapter 1, verse 23. And it became evening and morning, the fifth day. Chapter 1, verse 24. God also said, "Let the land produce living souls in their kind, cattle and animals and wild beasts of the earth, according to their species." And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 25. And God made the wild beasts of the earth, according to their species, and the cattle and every animal on the land, according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Chapter 1, verse 26. And he said, "Let us make man to our image and likeness, and let him rule over the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the air, and the wild beasts, and the entire earth and every animal that moves on the earth. Chapter 1, verse 27. And God created man to his own image, to the image of God. He created him male and female. He created them. Chapter 1, verse 28. And God blessed them, and he said, Increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Chapter 1, verse 29. And God said, Behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant upon the earth, and all the trees that have in themselves the ability to sow their own kind, to be food for you. Chapter 1, verse 30. And for all the animals of the land, and for all the flying things of the air, and for everything that moves upon the earth, and in which there is a living soul, so that they may have these on which to feed. And so it became. Chapter 1, verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and they were very good. And it became evening and morning, the sixth day. Genesis 2. Chapter 2, verse 1. And so the heavens and the earth were completed, with all their adornment. Chapter 2, verse 2. And on the seventh day God fulfilled his work, which he had made. And on the seventh day he rested from all his work, which he had accomplished. Chapter 2, verse 3. And he blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, for in it he had ceased from all his work, the work whereby God created whatever he should make. Chapter 2, verse 4. These are the generations of heaven and earth, when they were created in the day, when the Lord God made heaven and earth. Chapter 2, verse 5. And every sapling of the field, before it would rise up in the land, and every wild plant, before it would germinate. For the Lord God had not brought rain upon the earth, and there was no man to work the land. Chapter 2, verse 6. But a fountain ascended from the earth, irrigating the entire surface of the land. Chapter 2, verse 7. And then the Lord God formed man from the clay of the earth, and he breathed into his face the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Chapter 2, verse 8. Now the Lord God had planted a paradise of enjoyment from the beginning. In it he placed the man whom he had formed. Chapter 2, verse 9. And from the soil the Lord God produced every tree that was beautiful to behold and pleasant to eat. And even the tree of life was in the midst of paradise, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Chapter 2, verse 10. And a river went forth from the place of enjoyment, so as to irrigate paradise, which is divided from there into 4 heads. Chapter 2, verse 11. The name of one is the Pison. It is that which runs through all the land of Hevelath, where gold is born. Chapter 2, verse 12. And the gold of that land is the finest. In that place is found bdellium and the onyx stone. Chapter 2, verse 13. And the name of the second river is the Gihon. It is that which runs through all the land of Ethiopia. Chapter 2, verse 14. Truly the name of the third river is the Tigris. It advances opposite the Assyrians. But the fourth river, it is the Euphrates. Chapter 2, verse 15. Thus the Lord God brought the man and put him into the paradise of enjoyment, so that it would be attended and preserved by him. Chapter 2, verse 16. And he instructed him, saying, From every tree of paradise you shall eat. Chapter 2, verse 17. But from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in whatever day you will eat from it, you will die a death. Chapter 2, verse 18. The Lord God also said, It is not good for the man to be alone. Let us make a helper for him similar to himself. Chapter 2, verse 19. Therefore the Lord God, having formed from the soil all the animals of the earth and all the flying creatures of the air, brought them to Adam in order to see what he would call them. For whatever Adam would call any living creature, that would be its name. Chapter 2, verse 20. And Adam called each of the living things by their names, all the flying creatures of the air, and all the wild beasts of the land. Yet truly, for Adam, there was not found a helper similar to himself. Chapter 2, verse 21. And so the Lord God sent a deep sleep upon Adam. And when he was fast asleep, he took one of his ribs, and he completed it with flesh for it. Chapter 2, verse 22. And the Lord God built up the rib, which he took from Adam, into a woman, and he led her to Adam. Chapter 2, verse 23. And Adam said, Now this is bone from my bones, and flesh from my flesh. This one shall be called woman, because she was taken from man. Chapter 2, verse 24. For this reason a man shall leave behind his father and mother, and he shall cling to his wife, and the two shall be as one flesh. Chapter 2, verse 25. Now they were both naked, Adam, of course, and his wife, and they were not ashamed.